Shocking news for Pawn Stars fans broke when rumors started spreading that Richard Kevin Harrison, better known as Rick Harrison, had been sentenced to life in prison. Rick, famous for his no-nonsense approach to business and encyclopedic knowledge, on the show suddenly found himself in serious legal trouble, something no one expected for years. Pawn Stars entertained audiences by showcasing the fascinating world of pawn dealing, rare artifacts, tough negotiations, and the daily drama inside Rick Harrison's famous Las Vegas pawn shop. But now, Rick's flourishing TV career had taken a dark and unexpected turn. But what exactly did he do to deserve such a severe punishment? Stay with us as we delve into what led to this drastic turn in Rick's life and the details of the shocking case. Richard Kevin Harrison, a well-known American businessman and TV personality, was born on March 22, 1965, in Lexington, North Carolina. At just 2 years old, he moved with his family to San Diego, California, where he spent most of his childhood. As a young boy, Rick developed epilepsy at age 8, which led him to spend much of his childhood reading books, contributing to his impressive knowledge of history that would later benefit his career. Rick's early life wasn't easy. His battle with epilepsy meant he often missed school, eventually dropping out during his sophomore year of high school. This setback, however, didn't diminish his ambition or his thirst for knowledge. Instead, he devoted himself to self-education, devouring books on a wide range of subjects, particularly history and business. This autodidactic approach would later become evident in his encyclopedic knowledge displayed on Pawn Stars. In his teenage years, Rick began working alongside his father in various business ventures. He developed a keen eye for value and authenticity, skills that would prove invaluable in his future career. At the age of 17, Rick's girlfriend Kim became pregnant, prompting them to marry. The young couple would eventually have 2 sons, Corey and Adam, before divorcing after 8 years of marriage. In 1981, Rick's family relocated to Las Vegas, Nevada, where his father, Richard Benjamin Harrison, known as the Old Man, opened the Gold and Silver Coin Shop. The business eventually evolved into the world-famous Gold and Silver Pawn Shop in 1989, which would become the setting for Pawn Stars decades later. The transition from a coin shop to a pawn shop was strategic, as the Harrisons recognized the potential for higher profits in the pawn business. The early years were challenging, with Rick and his father working long hours to establish their reputation in Las Vegas. Rick often found himself dealing with difficult customers and sometimes dangerous situations, experiences that toughened him and honed his negotiation skills. By the early 2000s, Rick had become well known in Las Vegas for his expertise in various collectibles and historical items. The pawn shop gained a reputation as a place where one could find unusual and valuable items, attracting both locals and tourists. Recognizing the entertainment potential of his business, Rick began pitching the idea of a reality show based on the daily operations of the pawn shop. After years of rejection and persistent efforts, Rick finally secured a deal with the History Channel in 2009. Pawn Stars began airing, following the daily operations of the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop. The Ban show showcased Rick, his son Corey, Big Hoss Harrison, his father Richard the Old Man Harrison, and their friend Austin Chumley Russell as they evaluated, bought, and sold items of historical significance and questionable value. The show became an instant hit, transforming Rick from a local pawn shop owner into a television celebrity. His catchphrases, straight-talking manner, and extensive knowledge about historical artifacts made him a fan favorite. Rick's signature line, "The best I can do is," became iconic as he negotiated with customers looking to sell their treasures. What set Pawn Stars apart from other reality shows was the educational aspect that Rick insisted upon. Each episode featured historical information about the items brought into the shop, with Rick often providing detailed context and background that showcased his vast knowledge. This approach appealed to a broad audience, making the show one of the History Channel's most successful programs. Under Rick's guidance, the pawn shop expanded its business, attracting tourists from around the world who hoped to catch a glimpse of the stars or even appear on an episode. Merchandise sales soared, and Rick capitalized on his fame by writing books, making personal appearances, and even opening a restaurant. The success of Pawn Stars catapulted Rick into a new realm of celebrity. He appeared on numerous talk shows, was featured in magazines, and became a sought-after speaker at business events. His rags to riches story resonated with many Americans, and his straightforward business advice gained him respect beyond the entertainment industry. As a face of Pawn Stars, Rick was known for his business acumen and straightforward approach. He was a voice of reason on the show, often reining in his son Corey's ambitious purchases or Chumley's occasional antics. His relationship with his father, the old man, showed a mutual respect built on years of working side by side. When his father passed away in 2018, Rick demonstrated his commitment to honoring his legacy by continuing to run the business with the same principles. Rick's personal life during the height of Pawn Stars' popularity had its ups and downs. After his first marriage ended, he married Tracy Harrison, and they remained together for 27 years before divorcing in 2011. In 2013, Rick married Deanna Burden in a ceremony officiated by his Counting Cars co-star, Danny the Count Coker, with Chumley serving as ring-bearer. His family life, while mostly kept private, was occasionally featured in discussions on the show, revealing a man dedicated to his family despite the demands of fame and business. Rick expanded his business ventures beyond the pawn shop, opening Rick's Rollin' Smoke Barbecue and Tavern at Pawn Plaza, adjacent to the gold and silver pawn shop. He also co-authored the 2011 book License to Pawn: Deals, Steals, and My Life at the Gold and Silver, which detailed his life and business philosophy. Always the entrepreneur, Rick was constantly looking for new opportunities to grow his brand and expand his business empire. Throughout his career, Rick demonstrated a remarkable ability to spot value where others might miss it. On Pawn Stars, viewers watched as he evaluated items ranging from historical documents to vintage cars, ancient artifacts to modern collectibles. His expertise seemed boundless, though he frequently called in specialists when items fell outside his knowledge base, showing a businessman's prudence in knowing the limits of his expertise. Rick has bought and sold many items on the show. Some were great deals, while others weren't so good. His expertise in firearms, watches, and American history items often led to successful deals, turning modest investments into significant profits in the shop. One of his most famous purchases was a 2001 New England Patriots Super Bowl ring, which he bought for $2,600 and valued at significantly more. Another notable acquisition was a collection of Spanish gold doubloons recovered from a 1715 shipwreck, showcasing his interest in both history and valuable precious metals. Talking about good things, Rick's life had faced its share of not-so-good experiences, mainly a result of the choices he made. To be honest, in 2023, his legal troubles began when federal agents raided his Las Vegas home as part of an investigation that had been ongoing for several months. Initially, the public was kept in the dark about the nature of the investigation, leading to rampant speculation online. The raid came as a complete shock to fans, and even those close to Rick. FBI agents, accompanied by IRS investigators and representatives from the Department of Cultural Heritage Protection, executed search warrants at both Rick's home and the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop. Employees and customers present during the raid at the shop were temporarily detained, while agents confiscated computers, documents, and several items from the store's inventory. Rick's son Corey, who was at the shop during the raid, later described the scene as surreal and like something out of a movie. According to witnesses, Rick remained calm as agents escorted him from his home, maintaining his composure even as neighbors captured the moment on cell phones, with footage quickly spreading across social media. As details slowly emerged, it became clear that the authorities were investigating allegations of a sophisticated tax evasion scheme, money laundering operations connected to high-value items, passing through the pawn shop, and claims of dealing in illegally obtained artifacts. The investigation had apparently been triggered by suspicious transactions flagged by financial institutions and complaints from former business associates. In the weeks following the raid, the History Channel suspended production of Pawn Stars, issuing a brief statement that they were monitoring the situation and would make appropriate decisions as more information became available. The gold and silver pawn shop remained open, though with noticeably fewer customers, as a legal cloud hanging over Rick began to affect the business.